Hey, this is Doug Stanhope. I'm coming to Phoenix for the All Things Comedy Festival on Thursday, October 26th for a live recording of the Doug Stanhope podcast at the Orpheum Theater. But I'm not crazy. I'm staying for the whole gall dang thing. Go to allthingscomedy.com to get your tickets now. Now.
You're Near the Wild with Matt Becker, John Norris, and Ggreg Chaille.
Hello?
Hey, Matt Becker.
Hello?
Hello. Hang tight. Let's let the feed catch up here.
Okay.
Still dialing John. We'll see what happens when he gets on the line.
Yeah, traditionally he ruins it. No, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah, it just sounded like that.
It's connection, not his talking.
Okay, he didn't pick up, which means he might not be ready. So I'm going to just text him, and then we'll continue.
Okay. So you can smell El Paso from where you're at?
Well, you can smell a lot of things out here. I don't know that I can blame that on El Paso. I guess it depends on which way the rain is going, or the wind. I'm sorry. We just went through a rainstorm.
I won't even tell you what the Indian meaning for that is, but you can figure it out.
Yeah, there seems to be some lag. There's some lag going on here once in a while. So we'll see how long we can hang on to this. I tried to get as far as I could and then still try to stop at a rest stop. So I hit the rest stop, but I could, if I was a little closer to El Paso, the cell reception might be better because this is going through the AT&T cell reception through the tour van.
Okay.
No La Quinta's nearby.
No, but I saw you have a wigwam. What was the graffiti on it? I couldn't read it.
I don't know. I gotta look. Hold on. So much graffiti out here. Boca LaRue? I don't know. Maybe is that a band or something?
I couldn't tell. It looked regional.
Well, we're pretty close to the border. I know Boca's mouth. Hey, Becker, by the way, Tracy's listening. She didn't want a mic, but I figured if she's in the area, she should at least know at least have the option to pull the earbuds out if she didn't want to listen. So
exactly. That was that's a really nice wigwam. It's a rest area, right?
Yeah. But okay. What's a rest area? Tell me Matt Becker. You've traveled the North America quite a bit. Tell me
middle-aged truckers.
Tell me what's supposed to be at what you would determine a highway rest area. The bare minimums.
Usually it's got a area you can sit.
Yes.
A place for pets.
Okay.
An outside drinking fountain.
Okay.
An inside bathroom.
Wow.
Both male, female.
You're so close. You're so close. Because in the great state of Texas, it just really has to be a place off the side of the road, a trash can, a place to sit under a graffitied wigwam, and a barbecue pit. Full stop. That's it. That's it.
Really nice ones had the barbecue pit. You're driving around with steaks that are just about thawed, and you go, if we could just make it 70 more miles, you go, let's cook them here.
Not here. Let's do it here.
If they're writing on the wigwam, I got a feeling you don't want to know what they did inside that grill.
Yeah. So the one major problem is the pet area and the human rest area is combined. There's no fucking restrooms at a highway rest area 70 miles from the nearest town.
Wow. So the pet area is the area.
Yeah, it's called the area. Everyone goes in that area. And that just means right before you hit the barbed wire, that's where you unzip your pants and take care of your dog's business.
This might have been what started the Mad Pooper.
Could be, right?
She goes, I used to live in Texas. We just shit wherever they put a barrel.
Hey, man, I saw the wigwam. I figured You know, some people put tents in their yards to air them out. Maybe the family had a tent in their yard because they're going to go on an upcoming camping trip, and her Texas-born sensibilities of relieving herself was brought on by the sight of a tent in the yard. I think you did it. You cracked it. You cracked it, Becker.
You can't just pop over. You can't pop over. I don't have any way for you to do it.
I had no choice.
John's here.
Oh wow!
How can John be on the thing and still be here?
I just got a text. John's knocking at your door, Becker.
Yeah, well, that's good. He needs to tell me.
Go put your pants on.
I didn't want to throw a wrench in the entire chair.
Well, if you had told me 3 hours ago, I could have set it up.
Not only am I the worst host of Near the Wild, I am the most inconvenient.
House guest, yeah. So you just rolled over? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
You should be like a promotion, what do you call it? What do you call it? The guys that watch a probation officer.
Oh, yeah.
John shows up, he's wearing a sweater, he's all clean cut, goes, hey, you want to pee in a cup for me?
To make sure Matt is where he said he's going to be.
No, I don't. I'm on a podcast. What are you knocking at the door for?
Well, I was at work. I had to leave real fast, and I figured I could drive home, but that takes.
Ooh, remember what happened last time you did
minutes.
that?
I got dogs that are barking. This just seemed like a better solution.
No, okay.
It works.
Just always the ability to tell me before you get here.
You're hard to get a hold of.
You want a beer?
I didn't even try. I would love a beer.
Okay, I'm gonna get a beer. Okay, you catch up with Ggreg. He's at a Wigwam in Boonville.
Are you at a Wigwam right now?
Well, it sounds way more exotic than what it actually is. They are metal rest stop wigwams over a picnic bench, and
Is it like a gazebo? I'm not sure what a wigwam is.
We could call it a gazebo, a wigwam gazebo, but we're just at a really poorly designed Texas rest stop. There's no restroom. There's really, we just went over it, so it's the best thing.
You don't pee in the wigwam.
You don't pee. Never pee.
You ran over a gator.
Did not run over a gator. I've always wondered why.
Denying running over a gator.
Well, yeah. Tracy, when was that? That was 2 days ago.
It was dead.
Oh, it was yesterday.
2 days ago. Were you still in Texas?
No, we were just leaving Beaumont, Texas, and I've often wondered what happens when a gator, goes. I mean, these fucking prehistoric creatures go across a road, and if a semi hits it, they'll probably just throw it up into the swamp, clearing the road or something. But I've never seen one. I've never even seen one on the side of the road. I lived in Texas. I lived in Florida for a couple years. Drove down to Key West and never saw a gator on the side of the road dead, like you see armadillos. You see a lot of those now, or skunks or whatever. And yesterday I saw my first one. Well, the gators are plentiful all along the Gulf, all the way up into.
Unless you're driving. Unless
I'm driving. You all through Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Those are all gator areas, and if they can rope one and put it in a pen, they're going to try and get you to pull over and spend some money on Coca-Colas and ride the gator. So we saw one yesterday, and it was just in a weird area. We were, west of Beaumont, Texas, and which is near the near just when you get into Texas there. And goddamn, if that thing, now that I think of it, it's been haunting me. But it had like its back right leg was off. But now that in my mind, I know witnesses are never reliable, but I mean the flesh was still pink. Like I've seen him carve up a gator on YouTube. It was still kind of like chicken, right? And then I go back in my memory, I'm thinking his mouth was open. Like open, like not torn apart and cleaved. His mouth, that thing was fucking probably still alive and just kind of recouping until they figured out how to get across the road with 3 legs instead of 4.
You didn't stop?
No, we were, it was like 75 miles an hour. We were in a 2-lane road in our direction, and there was no stop. No, there's really no shoulder. I mean, the gator was taking up the shoulder.
You could have turned around. It had 3 legs.
Nah,
you had time to turn around.
John. There's no turning around in some of these areas. There you go miles before you hit a fucking.
You stop in Beaumont, Texas. You live in Beaumont.
Yeah. But it was crazy. I've never seen that. That was the first time I saw that. And the more I think of it, had I stopped and approached it, had I stopped and approached it, that thing, I'm thinking it was still alive because its head, it wasn't slumped down like those pictures I sent you, Becker. Its head was up, and it was like looking at the oncoming traffic. Probably, trying to gauge the situation. This thing, its head was still up. And his mouth was open, like just a little bit open, like when
You thought he was dead and looking around?
Well, the more I think of it,
your story's changing, Ggreg.
Look, I was shocked to see it, and then
was he looking around when you hit him?
He wasn't looking around, but he was frozen, but he wasn't like if he was dead. I would imagine his face, his chin would be touching the asphalt. It was not. It was up, and his mouth was open, like he had just been. Hit, spun out, and then did one of those cartoon blah, 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 and then went, okay, let's assess the situation. I've been alive for millions of years as a species. Let's assess this situation. 3 legs, I can handle that.
I still don't know how to cross the road.
I still don't know how to cross the road.
I have this exact same story. If we just replace Gator with homeless man, this is the exact same thing I told the cops.
Everything native to your area doesn't know how to cross a fucking road.
Yeah.
Listen, He was alive when I drove away. I'm pretty sure he was looking around.
The gators have been around for millions of years, and that's the problem. They ate
all of them.
They ate all the chickens. They're the only ones who know how to cross the road.
But could you imagine, though, at night, if you pulled over because you had a flat? And I'll just change it myself. Beautiful night outside Beaumont, Texas, and a gator comes out and starts chomping on you, and you're just like, I made a horrible mistake.
Dude, there are tons of gators in Texas. And that's the thing is we were driving and I didn't think there was anything. I kept seeing these billboards. Now, granted, all the billboards are pretty fucked over on the Gulf Coast because of what's been happening lately. So you can't.
Now, this is post Irma. Do you think they might have gotten blown into Texas?
Do you think this was a Floridian gator that
he couldn't understand
swept up in the hurricane?
He couldn't understand the Texas accent because he's a Bayou gator. He's trying to get home.
They got tons of football fields you're driving by in Texas. Even elementary schools have them. Were there any of the fighting gators?
No.
Because if you didn't see that,
we look for orange. Yeah, all these billboards are all fucked up, and you're like, that billboard, it says Gatorland USA kind of thing, and it's like, wait, that's like up ahead. Wait a minute, we're in Texas, right? There's no gators here. But yeah, there's plenty of gators in Texas, along the Gulf, and then even inland. I mean, look, it's roadside attractions, make or break. Someone who's got a highway frontage property, and if that's the way they're gonna do it. We did go to Gatorland in Florida.
Do you think are they native to Beaumont, Texas, or did somebody throw a gator in the back of their Honda?
You're still kind of along the Gulf there. We're where the 10 goes up. Across, I think that's the 10. Yeah, that's the 10. It was the 10 goes up. It starts right at about the Gulf on the eastern coast of, on the eastern end of Texas, and then goes up in through San Antonio and Austin. So yeah, there's you're down.
But do you think it's because the Vietnamese brought them over when they make pizza? They put it on their pizza.
We never even had the gator chunks that I thought we were going to get. They sell all the heads, but no one really sells.
Go to McDonald's? Because I've heard McDonald's in different areas of the world have different menus.
Regional,
Gator
I didn't see a gator kebab at any of the McDonald's, but we really didn't hit many of the McDonald's.
In Maine, they have the McLobster roll.
Yep.
Croc jerky.
Croc jerky. Not even that. I don't.
Oh, crock pot. Could you imagine? Just infused with THC and you just smoke the gator.
We did start. We started grabbing some of the unique truck stop candies and snacks so that we could introduce John to those when we see you on the 26th up in Phoenix.
I'll eat all your food.
Well,
Right.
yeah, there's a pecan roll, and we got another brittle thing, and then I found the banana planks that I enjoy so much that are down in the south.
Banana planks.
I've been waiting for a banana plank my whole life.
They're
We used to
pretty
work in
good.
the fields. At the end of the day, all you got was a banana plank and a bandana.
It's kind of creepy. It's like it seems like it's like a prop from like some weird movie because it's like Uncle Al's banana planks, and to me, it just the Uncle Al thing. That's what creeps me out about it. Like
this is all I got for you molesting.
Yeah, he's like this sweaty guy making like molesting treats. Look, I told you you'd get a molestation.
Mom would like yell, "Stay away from your Uncle Al's banana plank."
I told you, molestation first, then treat later. They do have them in. They have
Never do it backwards. Yeah. The kids tell.
No, the hands are all greasy. Yeah, so I believe I stashed a double pack of the banana planks. But and by the way, just so you know,
next to his double murderer bread.
I had a couple packs of those on this trip, and I just came to the realization that no, they're all stale. There's not a good batch because they just sit there forever. They're just fucking sugar cookies with just a slathering of banana or strawberry frosting on top.
Where is it made? You could go to the factory.
I think it's in Louisiana. And I think it's probably in a trailer. I'm guessing.
I've always thought that you track down like these like roasted like those Boston nuts or whatever. It's
Boston baked beans or the toffee nuts.
Baked beans. You go there, go to the factory and try it, and you go, nah, I don't care for them fresh.
Yeah.
I realized 6 years on a shelf is how I like them.
Exactly.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah,
I'll still buy a shirt.
They might bake stale flavor right in so people don't get confused, just to keep consistency.
Yeah, can you believe how much research, how much R&D went into getting that staleness like right out of the oven? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where your money's going. That's where Uncle Al's. That's where the real profits are going.
How do you explain this taste? They go, well, they used to start church with it in 1900s, but it was so full of mercury we had to quit.
There's a period of time when the Catholic Church bought so much host bread, and they were speculating. And as things started to drop off, they needed to divest themselves of all this extra host bread. Turns out, Uncle Al comes along.
It's the hairs from a pig snout. Now, we use every part of the hog.
It's perfect. Uncle,
those little hairs sticking out the front.
It's a full circle. Uncle Al used to be a priest. He got moved from the church so many times, from church to church. They finally just set him up in a cookie business.
That's where he mastered the banana plank.
We need more than molestation cookies. Come on, Al.
He's got a lot of franchises. I know I had him back when he lived in Virginia.
I used to just have to make cookies for my hobby. To feed my hobby.
You can't name one kid on the East Coast who wasn't touched by Uncle Al's banana planks.
Yeah, weren't we all? There's also strawberry, John. I don't want you to think that Al hasn't branched out. Some kids don't like banana.
Strawberries for the girls.
So yeah, we did go to Halloween Horror Nights number 27 in Orlando. Got a hotel room right close to the Universal Studios in Orlando. Got there right when it was starting to rain at 6:00, and we ducked into Emerald's and had a cocktail and some wonderful appetizers, and then just strolled right into the fucking park. It was great. Went on.
That's great.
They had 8.
Was it busy there?
Oh my God,
was it busy?
I think it was the third weekend that they were open, so we expected to be busy. But then when it rained, we're like, oh fuck, we can do this. I mean, Tracy, she grew up in Alaska. Used to when there's something going on, you go do it, regardless of the weather. And I lived in California enough to know that when it's Disneyland Day, you're fucking going. You're going no matter what. So yeah, we had ponchos. We never even took them out. We just it poured for a little bit. Went into the park, and we bought an express pass. I mean, you're into this thing. When you got the express pass, you're zipping right through the line. There's 8 haunts there, each haunt had at least an 80-minute wait to get in it, right? We didn't wait more than 8 minutes on any of them.
But how many?
Wow.
So, how many people? Why isn't everybody buying an express pass? Are they like saving their money?
Saving a buck?
To buy,
look, this Harry Potter one. Like, what do you save your money for?
To get in, I don't know why anyone would do it. And they've got beer everywhere. So we leave a haunt, we grab more beer, go, just find the next haunt, and by then the beer's done, and then we get right in line, and then go through again, and then go grab another beer. We were doing that all night. And then I was like, I kept turning around to someone going like, can you believe this? Look at this line. We just walked by all these people. Would anyone ever not do this if they did it once? And everyone was like, yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't go get one right now watching us walk by, you know? We'd go on 4 rides or 4 haunts and everyone else would go in 1. And then you're standing there the whole time.
You sure they didn't think you guys worked there?
No, man. That's
With
a
your
thing.
Crazy hair and everything? They might have just gone, oh, they work here. Go ahead.
Well, we toned it down a little bit. But this is the thing. I mean, to get in, it was $70 each to get in. Then it was another $140 each for the express pass. So there's your barrier to entry right there. We were in at $400 before, with, buying drinks and some food and stuff like that before we even got into the park. And then another $130 for the hotel room. That's expensive, but went on fucking everything, got totally drunk and had a blast.
Wait, four with the hotel? 4 with the hotel?
No, not with the hotel. Not with the hotel.
So 500?
We're probably about 500. About 500 after Uber and all that stuff. Yeah, we're $500, I'd say, easily.
$250 a piece to go to a haunted house?
To go to fucking an event with 8 haunted houses. Totally worth it.
You don't
dude.
know anybody who works at Universal? You couldn't get a discount? Couldn't even get in the park for free at least?
I could have tried, but I don't do that.
No. But was it a bracelet? Like a bracelet they put on you?
There's a bracelet, and then there's also a pass that you have to have on you the whole time, and your name is on it, and they scan it as you go through. Dude, I'm telling you, this is the. If I would not have gotten the pass, my brother would have fucking flipped because we've done this enough. Where we've been to these events where they have the express entry, you're not going to see all the events. They had a haunt for Saw. They had American Horror Story. They had Ash versus Evil Dead. They had The Shining. Those are the 4 properties, and those are all on a soundstage. All 4 of them are on separate sound stages. They had 5 other ones: The Hive, Dead Water. They had a Scarecrow. The what is it? Bloomhouse and The Fallen. These are all separate events in separate sound stages, dude.
So you're paying basically $10 a piece.
Huh? That'd only be $80.
with all the different ones, though. I mean, you get a variety. I mean, it's not like you're going to one haunted house.
Look, I'm telling you, that's why no one does it, because it is an exclusive VIP entrance. It's totally worth it because we're never.
It's worth it because if you don't get it. If you don't get it, you're each paying, $70, $100 to stand in line for like 3/4 of the day.
And the last time I went was back in like 2002, and literally went on 2 haunts. There were probably 6 or 7 back then. This is their 27th year doing it in Orlando. They got the shit down, and it's pretty spectacular. I mean, the whole park is taken over. So I recommend if you want.
Is it automated? Is it? A lot of it automated, or is it
everything's live action, really good. Like right now, the big thing is silicone masks because there's no makeup. But then there's things out in the street, scare zones and stuff like that. And I mean, the whole place is darkened, and special effects, all through the haunts. It's good, dude. I'm telling you, it's totally worth it.
Didn't the haunted theme park thing, did it start at Knott's Berry Farm in California? I remember always hearing about how that was there would be actors all over the park hiding behind things to scare people, and that was before people were used to that sort of thing.
Yeah, that was
now everybody's used to just being scared whenever they go outside.
That's exactly,
it was a novel thing.
That's exactly where it all started. And there's some of those guys that started with knots in the 80s still are like executives now that work at knots, and they work year round at knots just for Knott's Scary Farm. And there's a really good coffee table book. If I can get the name of it, I'll put it in the show notes. That is the early days of when it was just, young kids, like late high school, early college kids that were there just, setting up little scare trails and stuff like that. But that's where I went in the 80s. We lived in Fullerton right next to Buena Park, and that's where we went every Halloween. But all this grew out of that. You're right, John.
Back in the glory days when everybody was either like, I'm going to be a serial killer or I'm going to work at a theme park. One or the other.
How can I monetize
I'm a
both?
scarecrow. Hay fever.
Well, they used to have a really cool thing, a witch hanging at like 2 or 3 times a night at Knott's. And this is when I was like 14. We'd get dropped.
Witch hanging?
Well, they would do this. They would have the gallows built, and they would.
It was called a lynching.
Yes, I think so, and yes.
Sounds a little risque.
Black magic.
No, it was called the witch hanging, and they would bring this actress up, and she would look like the crooked nose, wicked witch of the West.
Yeah,
no, not Glenda.
She looked different every night.
No, she looked like an old haggard witch. And what they were doing was it was a show. And there would be a huge smoke pot below her, and it was just a trick that they would, when they went to hang her, she'd make a big speech about how she's going to get everyone. They would hang her, and then her body would drop from the noose, but there would be a big flash of smoke, and the lights would dim, and then they would let like a fucking hawk or something, like an owl go or something. And the lights would come back up and you'd see this bird flying away. And they just moved her back behind something. You couldn't see it, but it was dramatic. And, when you're 13 or 14, it looks fucking pretty badass. And, back in the, early 80s, they could call it a witch hanging, but then they stopped doing that years ago.
Now they just throw them in a pond. Like, if she floats, she's a witch.
No, now they do witch timeout.
Witch timeout.
Yeah, you sit over there. Take your hat off. You're inside.
No talking. No threatening the crowd.
We call it a Wiccan night now. We celebrate witches.
Excuse me, I smell peanuts. There aren't peanuts in this haunt, are there? Because my child. I know. You're kidding.
I don't know how they can do any of this shit. But I mean, when they license a property like Saw or American Horror Story, they took 3 different seasons and just kind of threw everything in there, and they were all right.
Are they the good seasons or the bad seasons?
Well, everything's live and die by lighting in these things, and if it's not lit right, then or
just like parking lots at Walmart.
Exactly. But if you you're going through and as crowded as it was and as easy as it was for us to get in, it's a conga line going through there. You're right behind the people in front of you, and there's people right behind you. So sometimes there'll be a really cool effect coming up or something, and it's just not reset by the time you're walking by it. Still worth it.
Was anybody like, these are those fuckers that keep cutting in the line?
No, dude. That's the thing. Everyone's looking at you, but I don't know if they have to know about it. I mean, with that price tag, no one's gonna, they will look at that and wonder, well, how do they then they look at the price and go, that's why that line was so short.
And then you're just like, yeah, you see any kids around us? That's how we afford it.
There were some. Yeah. But I mean, if you like haunts and you want to see,
can you bring a guest?
Yeah, for another $250.
Could you sit one out and Tracy grab somebody like, hey, I'm going to give some poor kid a chance to see this
pass.
thing.
Oh shit, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
I mean, they would honor it, right?
Yeah, easily. Well, no, they're not asking for ID every time they're signing it. You just have the pass on you. Yeah, you could easily do that, I would imagine. I mean, we were drunk and it was 2 a.m.
That's how you win over the poor crowds. You look like a magnanimous couple if you start bringing like poor kids through with you.
Yeah, you're just grabbing people at the end going, hey, how about we get you in right now?
I stand at the Willy Wonka fountain at the exit and just rip it up in front of everyone. Nobody gets it. Nobody.
Fast Pass, the new Fast Pass, the new banana plank. That's weird. Our son, he said he'd be here for an hour. He's already through.
That's the thing is, I think you kind of touched on this, John. How often are Tracy and I going to be in Florida driving, having the luxury to make our own timetable of when we can be there, driving through and in October and at the time when the park will be open for Halloween Horror Nights. It was the perfect storm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I know Stephanie and I went to Disneyland and we got the Fast Pass, but we only got it because a friend of my cousin's worked at Disneyland and hooked us up with tickets. And then she was like, oh, and here's these Fast Pass things. And we were like, okay, we don't know what these are. And then we quickly realized they were like the golden ticket to like having fun at Disneyland. So
yeah, I mean that's where that all came from.
I'm not sure I dropped $500 on it, but I might now that I've experienced it because I don't think I could go back to waiting in line.
Well, it's like first class.
But you could go into Disneyland 365 days of the year. They never close except when the hurricane's coming through. There's only so many nights of Halloween Horror Nights or wherever. They do it on the West Coast now too at Universal. They do it, still Knott's, and they all have this feature of bumping up and getting through the line quicker, and that makes it more exclusive.
The Fright Night haunted house at the Northway Mall, it's a limited attraction too here in Anchorage. So I think
actually the Northway Mall's a limited attraction. I heard.
It ends in the wig store, so I was gonna go there anyway, so I might as well go through the haunted house.
Yeah. Exit in the wig store. Hey, is the guy out in
the wig shop?
Is what the guy in Wasilla? Is he doing a haunt this year in those Quonset huts? I think it's called Haunted.
I haven't heard anything yet.
I think it's called Haunted Alaska or something. But
I haven't heard about it.
He's got
the only ones I've heard about is the one the city puts on out on in the trails and the one at the Northway Mall. Yeah,
I think that trail one is recruitment, or maybe it's maybe they're cutting trail.
They just tell everyone on your way out, please gather up a tent and some trash.
Everyone grab a shovel before you get on the trail.
Everyone take your machetes now. Swing away from people and keep heading down the cane field. My arm couldn't take another trip. A fast pass to citizenship.
Hey, that'll work. I do want to remind you guys, All Things Comedy Fest, October 26th through the 29th in Phoenix at the Orpheum Theater. The Doug Stanhope podcast will be live on the 26th, but there's great podcasts going live all weekend long. And you can get your tickets for the All Things Comedy Fest, especially if you want to go see Doug Stanhope live with the podcast. You got to go to standuplive.com and you'll see the link for Phoenix.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Do you guys get to see Bill Burr? We get to see Bert Kreischer sober?
Hell, that's right.
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. I want to start protesting it. I want to go, hey, do you guys know how you make a living? It's not all about sending your kids to private schools and telling everybody not to drink for a month.
I think it's some of it might be.
Remember September. Leave October alone.
I think it might be a little healthy thing that they decided to do.
Well, how about a month where you don't cheat on your wives? How about that, guys? How about maybe you just shouldn't talk about some things in public. Maybe you have a drinking problem. Maybe they're going to drop your insurance. I don't know, Bert, but I'm just saying. If you want to take a month off, keep it to yourself.
There was a lot of discussion like this on all the podcasts that he was doing. Was like why are you going to stop smoking weed for Ari Shaffir? He's like. Because Ari didn't want to stop smoking weed. He goes, hey, I'll stop drinking. He said, well, you don't really drink. Or you drink, but you'd rather smoke pot. And it's like, well, you got to make it be something you have to stretch for. It can't be something super easy.
They have a month for this. It's called January.
Yeah,
Lent.
I know. I mean, Bert talks about how much he drinks on stage. And I think he's really talking about how much he doesn't drink on stage. He only has, he does 2 shows a night. Fridays and Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, and he's not drinking during that first show where he has 1 drink on stage with him. I don't think he's drinking a lot. I see a lot of drinking backstage. I've seen a lot of it.
And that's what I was going to say. The people who don't talk about it are the ones we should be after here.
Well, no, and they're the ones who don't fucking care. We're openly talking about Doug without saying his name, but these are people that they're not. He's going to stop. I think he's going to do. He's got an idea for another 30 days in the hole, and we'll probably talk about it when we get back to Bisbee. But he's doing that because it's really more smoking than anything else, because he smokes a lot of cigarettes. And that's one way to try and knock that down. But I don't know. That was a lot of fun when we did that. It was a lot of work, but we've talked about what.
Well, it's different the way he did. He had actually something he was working on, and he wasn't doing shows while he was doing it.
No, exactly.
They're going around doing shows. Hey, I got sober with Bert Kreischer the other night. It was a blast.
I don't know how that's going to relate to ticket sales. Like you can't go into the fucking the Laugh Factory and have all your 2-drink minimums be soda water. It's not the way it works, you know. It'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. We'll find out. Bert will be up there for, I don't know. I got to find out if he's going to be up there the whole time. But you can also get tickets for Bert Kreischer. He's doing a Call In Sick to Work comedy show. Stand Up Live.
It's not like you're hungover.
Standuplive.com. Yeah, how's that work? They drink during that whole fucking thing.
If nothing else, like I'll be drinking. So
that's what we need.
People want to drink with me.
We need a Kreischer to have a human ankle monitor. We're just watching him. John and Matt, you're still coming out, right?
Yes, indeed. We'll be there.
We got plenty to do.
Is there an In-N-Out burger near the theater?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Where's the closest In-N-Out burger? Because we were just going to stop on the way and then get right after.
There should be one in Phoenix, but I also realized we will be up in Phoenix over that whole weekend, and the Fear Fair will be open, so we can hit the haunts up there, and maybe Chad will be there too, so we can go up there with the Butcher Black Knob.
I'm gonna scream like a girl. It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna get the super double fast pass.
Those I'm
still waiting.
How much do I have to pay to go through the whole thing with my eyes closed? Does that cost extra?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some VIP access on those. Hopefully, I gotta make some phone calls, but those guys are good friends of ours and customers for Ghostwrite. So hopefully that's what was the other one, Tracy? 13th floor? Yeah. So those are up in Phoenix.
13th floor. You guys told me about that. That's the one where you got to jump down a slide or something.
No. That's the Beast out in Kansas City. We're not heading that way. That's the one where you jump out the second story.
Should we go to Kansas City?
I would.
We can hit up.
I'd do it again. That's a good one.
What about Pick Your Own Pumpkin? Is that still open?
I haven't seen one pumpkin patch out here yet. It is early October.
You know what they make the somewhere up by between Flagstaff and Phoenix is where they make all the pumpkin beer.
Like craft beer?
Much all of it, yeah. Pretty much all the stuff they use for pumpkin beer, they make it out of there.
Oh, like they get all their hops up in one area up in Washington.
Pumpkin hops.
Well, no, I mean there could be an area where they get all the pumpkin. I don't know.
Are they all like the garbage, ugly pumpkins that they just chop up and roast for beer?
I don't know. Maybe you can get an express pass and get the fancy pumpkin made in the beer.
I was at Cars last night, Safeway, for our non-Anchorage listeners, and they have all the pumpkins are out, and they have a shitload of these pumpkins they call Knuckle pumpkins.
I think I know what you're talking about. The ones
they're just like pumpkins with HPV. They're like just got warts all over them.
Oh,
they're now selling a disease,
and they're charging more for them, even though it seems like those would be much harder to carve. Like they look cool if you're not going to carve them, but
well, it looks like that might if it's all like bumpy like an outbreak, then it's probably going to be integrated into the design like a Quasimodo pumpkin, right?
Sure.
Unchecked syphilis.
I mean,
I'll take that one.
You wouldn't
they carve this to resemble my left testicle.
You wouldn't get a wart pumpkin and then cure it. What's the point?
Well,
I'm just going to chop up all the warts and put a nice foundation on it, kind of smooth it out.
Get a belt sander.
Look, honey, you can barely tell. Come on, the kids won't notice.
I just feel like we get all of the shitty pumpkins up here because Alaskan farmers only grow pumpkins to win the fucking state fair and not for the Halloween fun.
Well, that's same with Christmas. We get the knob shine Christmas trees at the stores when they try to sell them to you. And then you're looking across the way and there's a beautiful evergreen right in the parking lot.
Lot.
How much they're soft.
So I found out last season, Ghost Ride. Last season, Ghost Ride, like they molded like a 600-pound pumpkin and then a couple of like 300 and 400-pound ones. And then he molded those and then took those to the show and they were a hit. Everyone liked them. And they had, the big ones, especially the big ones, have these like kind of deformed, not like warty or scars, but they've got like some marks in them. And a pumpkin farmer up in, at the show in St. Louis said, you know what that is right there? And I go, no, like it fell in there. He goes, no, that's where a deer.
That's the pumpkin dick. That's what we in the biz we call it pumpkin dick.
You got the pumpkin dick.
That there's a male. I can tell. No, he said they call him.
That's where the pumpkin beer comes from. You can pull it hard enough.
They call it a hoof stomp or something, but it's where deer like rear back and try and bust open the pumpkin because it's the biggest one. And they try and get in it, and if they can't bust it open, it kind of leaves a scar on there, and that's what it's like a hoof scar, I guess they call it.
That guy is an amazing storyteller.
Well, he's a pumpkin farmer who.
That's where some guy get minimum wage loaded it on the truck, Greg.
But he's a pumpkin farmer who said he couldn't do it anymore because there's just no money in the fucking pumpkins.
No, but so does this fake pumpkin look real?
Oh, it looks fucking fantastic.
Enough to beat the state fair? Come on. Yes. You know how famous your brother will be if we beat the state fair with the pumpkin?
Yeah, fuck you, it's not real. Look at that. There's a pumpkin dick on it right there on the side. And look, it's all warded out.
That's from a deer kicking it.
Michael, just go around and enter all these pumpkin contests. Don't try and sell the pumpkins.
Just win one time, you'll make national news. And if you have your bunker and you think Armageddon's going to hit, you might want to keep a pumpkin down there.
Yeah.
Just for later.
Well, we were at Gatorland. They had a thing on these tortoises, these like 45, 65-year-old tortoises. And then they had these placards, and then they've monetized everything at Gatorland too. You could feed a tortoise, and we're just reading the placards as we go around this thing, watching this big fucking dinosaur walk around. And I guess sailors used to go. I mean, the tortoises are these big, slow animals that are just hanging around on these rocks for eons until the sailors get there, and then they just start hacking them apart and grabbing them and throwing them into the hold of the ship, and they would leave the tortoise like up on a rack, and when it was time to get some more meat, they would just take that live tortoise that's been sitting there in the hold of the ship and hack it open, and then have turtle soup or whatever you fucking do with those things.
Yeah, there was I think it was a Radio Lab episode that talked about there's this island somewhere near the Galapagos or like somewhere down there.
There's tons of islands down there.
Nobody could figure out like how the tortoises got there.
Yeah.
And then they figured it was because these sailors, like either they got bored or whatever, they would just like throw their tortoise off the boat and it would like somehow make its way to this island, and now there's like a small population where there definitely should not be.
That was the first PETA was actually a pirate. So the guy who had first started PETA.
I guarantee it was the crew going, I'm not eating tortoise again tonight.
Where's a pumpkin? Let's get a fucking pumpkin in here. So, but when they would get to these islands, there was like a woodcut, a copy of a woodcut drawing or something of these dandies and these pirates and people like on this island just riding on the back of a tortoise, ready to fucking slice his head off, killing like everything on the island, just kill it, like the way they used to kill buffalo shooting from the train going across the west. And it was
well, not really. There aren't buffalo on islands, Greg.
No. I mean, the way they would just,
but like way easier.
Yeah. It's like killing postal workers.
Yeah. It turns out you could just turn the turtle over. But what I'm saying is like there would be like this wonton killing that there'd be like, why did you have to kill like 75 tortoises? There's only 6 guys on the ship. Why did you kill all of them? But that's what they did. They just decimated them.
Greg, anybody can kill like a 5-year-old buffalo. It takes a man to kill a 75-year-old tortoise.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's what you gotta do.
Maybe you get some of his wisdom when you eat his nuts. You get that tortoise nuts.
Once you see him snap a stick off, you're not peeing on that island until he's dead.
Yeah, that's what it is. No one's dropping a deuce on there until they make sure all the fucking snapping turtles are gone.
Slow but sneaky.
All right, guys, it's starting to get dark here, and I don't want to be at this place at night.
Yeah, no, we're going to go a little longer. You're going to get the express pass to this haunted house. Tom Petty's dead.
Tom Petty, who had once performed with our beloved Prince in a video clip, but also did some other things on his own, I'm told.
Yeah.
The man who ruined the Traveling Wilburys. He was the Yoko Ono of that poor group. I don't know, Jeff Beck did it.
Jeff Beck wasn't in the Traveling Wilburys. Jeff Beck?
No, it was a bass player from
Jeff Lynne.
ELO.
Jeff Lynne.
Jeff.
Yeah. We've been traveling, so we listen to a lot of podcasts and listen to a lot of music. But last 4 days we've been driving, and we get little clips every once in a while of news when someone tweets something, and it was that Tom Petty had died, and it was like, oh fuck. And then we're just talking a little bit about what the details were. It was kind of sketchy and stuff. And then we go back to listen to podcasts and music and stuff. And then like 2 or 3 hours later, some news comes on that, well, he's not really dead.
He's clinging to life.
Yeah, I thought they were fucking with the Deadpool.
Yeah. What the fuck? So, but, we didn't find out until we got into the hotel late last night that he was still alive or something. I don't know. So did he die today or last night?
He died twice, yeah.
Yeah.
See, the internet has stopped being useful because now they just say what could be happening.
Well, the thing is, just stop dragging his heart around.
That was the first joke I made too. That was a good one.
Like, I hope Burgoon's smart enough to know Halloween he should dress up as Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Because he looks like
Burgoon looks like a Tom Petty.
He does.
Well, any costume shop worth its salt is going to have a Mad Hatter outfit, and then you get those rectangle specs that he had in that one Alice in Wonderland video. Perfect. Free fall.
You don't know what video is that?
Was it Free Fall?
Last Dance of Mary Jane.
Last Dance of Mary Jane. Yeah. You're good.
Now, was that about drugs?
I think it was about Spider-Man's girlfriend.
Wait, what gives you cardiac arrest?
Yeah, remember that was Robert Palmer. I believe he was addicted to more than just love.
Yeah. I do remember. I was talking to Tracy about it yesterday. I do remember that one of the first times I really was kind of mesmerized by a band was like discovering music, and then hearing music is one thing, but then discovering when you become a teenager and stuff was listening to the King Biscuit Flower Hour on KMET in Los Angeles. And it was live performances, and it was following Dr. Demento every Sunday. And the first time I remember listening and then really digging it was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes. They did the whole album live on the King Biscuit Flower Hour, and it was really good. I remember listening to it and being really kind of turned on by the guitars and the whole fucking thing, because I'm still early. I was going to concerts, but not a lot. And it was usually winning tickets, not having money to buy tickets. But it was Tom Petty. I totally remember that Damn the Torpedoes, and it was good. Yeah.
It was good, too, that he just got done with a tour where everybody saw him, because a lot of these guys, they just die between when they were going to go do their new album.
Inconsiderate fucks.
You didn't have to worry about refunds.
That's nice. Could you believe that poor Marilyn Manson?
Oh yeah.
Talk about a gun accident.
Jesus. Now, okay, you guys.
Marilyn Manson.
Okay, Marilyn Manson was he's on the road. He's in the U.S. and he jumped off of a stage in I think Philly, and just jumped down into the pit, which he's prone to do that. And I guess he says he broke his ankle, right? But he's still kind of walking around on it. Next night, there's this truss, and truss is like if you go to a club and you see where the lights are hanging down in front of the stage.
Yeah.
That's truss. Most of it's aluminum for the last 40 years. And there's a large vertical truss with a base on it. And then there's two, I'm going to say fiberglass, but they could have been foam, like 8-foot guns.
Or they could have been steel too. It made a good ding when it hit.
Well, that's the thing is it went down in slow motion. And if you watch, one guy lifts it up. So I knew he wasn't crushed, but the problem was twofold. One, no one fucking sandbagged that fucking prop from being, side heavy. And two, what the fuck is he crawling up something that he's not supposed to be crawling up? Cause that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where I kind of knew what was happening, but at the same time, it probably, the guns probably broke the fall of everything, and there was probably more damage to the guns than to him.
So wait, he crawled up on the truss and it collapsed?
Yeah, it tipped over on him.
The truss was
it looked like a cross, really, because there's two guns going out like this, and then the centerpiece. So then it looks like that. So it kind of looks like, I think it was supposed to look like a cross, which is funny.
But the truss in the back is like a brushed aluminum. You can't really see it, but it's there to hold these guns in that position, and it's probably about 10 feet or maybe a 12-foot stick, and it kind of just it leaned over like a slow falling tree, and he was under it, and that's fucking scary and that's dangerous. But
I think he might be too old to be climbing up on things.
Well, but the thing
that's
is,
a young rock star's game.
He gets hurt. This is Halloween. This is his time to shine.
Yeah.
New album, Halloween, Marilyn Manson, book solid.
But when I was younger, I got kicked off of a lot of stages, and I realized I shouldn't be up here. These guys are looking around going, what the fuck? This guy could hurt someone or himself, and I'm just trying to make everyone look at me jump on stage at the fucking I don't know, where was I? Spandau Ballet. Turns out pretty easy to get on stage at Spandau Ballet, guys. No one really gives a fuck. What are you doing?
Everybody's Wang Chun. Bam, bam, bam. Hey, look, there's Chaille.
Crowd surfing. Without a crowd. Yeah, the thing is it could be a dangerous place if you're in the wrong place or you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. And I read a snippet because, when something happens like this, they always go back to the disgruntled former bandmates from Marilyn Manson's earlier years. And they went to Madonna Wayne Gacy, who they had a big wicked falling out. And he basically was saying, yeah, fuck him. He shouldn't be dancing around climbing things you're not supposed to be climbing, And I mean, that's
his stage.
Yeah. Well, that's when fucking, the lead singer from Metallica, when he walked into an area he wasn't supposed to be walking towards, and they fucking got his arm lit up by a fire pot. That's the thing, is on stage, you're not supposed to be in certain areas. You're not supposed to be fucking around like Eddie Vedder crawling up on top of the truss at the Moore Theater and then jumping. You're not supposed to do that. I mean, that's not in rehearsal.
Or Prince hanging out in the elevator doing drugs.
But doing what you're not supposed to do, Greg, that is the rock and roll thing.
I thought it was a good lesson for everybody that, rock and roll isn't dead, but neither is Marilyn Manson.
I mostly enjoy the videos of the people who have stage accidents that aren't their fault, like when they are walking and a trap door is down that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's
fucking, that's what I thought during these floods.
I'll never do the Penn and Teller Theater again.
That's what I thought with all these floods. You see these people walking down the street. Well, there were reports that in some of these towns, when the sewer system got just flooded out, it would pop the manhole covers up. So you're walking down what is a street that you're very familiar with, and then all of a sudden you go right down into a hole that's there because the manhole cover's gone. That's fucking crazy.
That's scary, because then you're really where the gators are. You've listened to another episode of Near the Wild. I'm Matt Becker, sitting in my room looking outside at the yard.
And I am John Norris, warning Chaille not to pick up hitchhikers unless it's a 3-legged alligator.
And this is Ggreg Chaille in the van, heading straight due west and getting the fuck out of Texas, hopefully in the next 30 minutes.
This sounds like exactly how you end up in Texas for 20 years. We'll be watching your documentary, Ggreg.
You've been listening to the Near the Wild podcast with Matt Becker, John Norris, and Ggreg Chaille. Recorded in Anchorage, Alaska on Matt Becker's backyard bus. Produced and engineered in Bisbee, Arizona by Chaille.